After yesterday's pre-match preview ahead of the Manchester United game that I recorded with Gio yesterday, somebody sent a message saying that they thought I'd been overly diplomatic, maybe sort of protecting the players, protecting Lopetegui, rather than saying what I really thought. For those of you that are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, if you didn't watch the preview, I said I thought West Ham would win, and I said that after the Tottenham game, I thought there had been some decent individual performances. I wasn't being diplomatic. I wasn't trying to protect Lopetegui at all. Look, if West Ham are crap, and I think Lopetegui's crap, I'll say so. It's just not that complicated. I genuinely thought and think that West Ham are going to beat Manchester United. I genuinely thought that Wan-Bissaka played well against Tottenham. I thought Emerson had a decent game. I thought Kudus was really good until he got sent off, and I thought Bowen was okay. And maybe, I think in the first half, I thought Rodriguez played well. I wasn't saying it to flower it up and to make it sound better than it was ahead of Manchester United. If I think we'll lose, I'll say it. But I think we'll win, and I still think that, and particularly even more so after last night. And in case you don't know, Manchester United drew 1-1 with Fenerbahce. Jose Mourinho got sent off. There's which obviously, an interesting story in itself because he's the former Manchester United manager and whatnot. But whilst there's been a lot of focus, I think, on Jose and on the sending off, the amount of pressure that it heaped on Erik Ten Hag almost feels like it's insurmountable. We recorded that preview before that Fenerbahce game, so, and obviously, hopefully you'll have seen the preview last night, yesterday before the game anyway. So we didn't know the result, but that was not a surprising result at all. Man U were under pressure. Man U not being very good at all. I think they've played 3 games in the Europa League and drawn them all. This is a shadow of the Manchester United side. And I said in that preview that it wouldn't be surprised if Ten Hag lost this game against Man United, against West Ham, if he got sacked. And, I mean, there's a lot of calls for him to be sacked after last night's game against Fenerbahce. I think he played Mazraoui in like an attacking midfield, like a number 10 position, got a lot of stick for that. Now, we were linked with Mazraoui in the summer and did a video then at the time by saying this guy can play in 5 or 6 positions. So he has, it's not like he's only played right back in his career. So he's played there before. But I think when you're under as much pressure as clearly Ten Hag is, I think if you go and do something like that and you get it wrong, it's just going to heap extra pressure upon you. And there's little doubt in my mind now that he's going to be massively, massively under pressure going into this game. And I think it's really important that West Ham do play, I was gonna say play the team rather than the badge, but almost play the man. And when I mean that by saying, I hope we go out and we perform against the team and go for the jugular, and a team that are massively under pressure. They've had a midweek trip. I really do think this is sort of all in our favour. But by the same token, I think it's so much in our favour, and this is why I'm not flowering it up. I think Lopetegui almost has nowhere to go if he loses this game, because they are bang average, Manchester United. It's not just that they're a little bit unlucky. I think they've been bang average for quite some time now. And certainly in their sort of terms. Look at the Europa League. Look at their placing in the Europa League, bang average. Look at their placing in the Premier League, bang average. Look at their players. I mean, they are not full of world-class players anymore, as we discussed in the preview. They are there in a home game for the taking. Yes, we're missing Mohamed Kudus, but he's one player. And whilst maybe our transfer window doesn't look quite so good, particularly when people were heralding and hailing us as having won the transfer window back in the summer, we still have a lot of bloody good players, some really, really good players, and players that can cause them an awful lot of bother. I know they went a goal behind against Brentford and then came back, but I do think that even the extra couple of days after that and the extra pressure will make it pretty hard for them to come back after that. If we start early, everyone starts early. If we start well and early, then I think we've got every chance. I really do. But it's going to be nervy. We can either make it nervy for them or nervy for ourselves, because if they take the lead, then it's going to be a lot of high drama. And I do think that whilst most of the pressure, I think at least I mean, for once, Lopetegui's got a little bit of a rest, hasn't he, out of the press, as it were, because I think for most weeks, there's a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of the press talking about him being in trouble, about his job. And I think for once, because we're playing Manchester United, the story's going to be more about Ten Hag than him. But make no mistake about it, if he mucks this up, he's in a lot of trouble. And before I go any further, can I please point you in the direction of today's video sponsor, which, of course, is Match Bingo. If you don't have your Match Bingo ticket, your match card for West Ham v Manchester United in and done ahead of the game, then what are you waiting for? Because Match Bingo have got a really good deal. Well, actually two. You can run them side by side if you want. Deposit £10 into your account and you will get credited with 20. That in itself is a bloody good deal. But also, you can buy up to a maximum of 5 bingo cards for each match. But if you buy 3, which is £6, then Match Bingo will give you 5. What is Match Bingo? It combines bingo and it combines football. So rather than there being numbers on a card, you need 15 things to happen throughout a game. Easy stuff, most of it. A throw-in, a kick-off, that sort of thing. A left-footed shot. And then what happens is you fill up your card. They pay out for the first person that gets 1 line. Then they also pay out for the second line. They pay out for a full house. That's basically all 15 things happening in the game. Plus there is a bonus pot, £275 prize fund for this particular one. We had loads of winners. We even had a winner from Hammers Chat, from you lot who watch, in the Crystal Palace game. So, look, lots and lots of winners. We think we're up to about 100 winners now. Links in the description below. 18 and above, it is a betting app. So, but, you know what? As I say, the maximum you could even spend on a game, on this West Ham game, would be £6 anyway. So, hopefully, you're not going to... You'd be responsible anyway. The app sort of forces you to be so. Look, getting back to the situation with Lopetegui, I was absolutely gobsmacked when Gio told me yesterday, during the preview, that Lopetegui had alluded to the fact that maybe he's not translating, maybe he's not communicating very well with the players. Absolutely gobsmacked. I'm just trying to pull up the exact comments here. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Perhaps I'm missing something in translation. Maybe I need to improve too. Maybe my translation with the players needs to be improved, that's for sure. What? Really? Maybe my translation to the players needs to improve, that's for sure. What the hell are we doing? Well, if that is the case, you almost leave yourself nowhere to go. And I don't even think that's on Lopetegui. Look, he's whatever he is, 56, 57, however old he is. His English is probably not going to get significantly better now than it already is. His English is as good as it is. It's okay. It's good. I'd say his English is far better than my Spanish. I can tell you that much. This one is on the appointment, because I almost feel silly even saying it, because I can't believe maybe something was lost in translation in the article. Maybe he means that he's just not communicating well with the players, but that's still bad. And what is he saying? Is he saying his grasp of English isn't good enough? Is he saying his communication skills aren't good enough? If that's the case, that's on the hiring rather than him. Because I'm assuming that his communication was deemed good enough in his interview, which apparently he interviewed really, really well. That's not great. That's not great at all. So there's a lot of pressure upon him there. And of course, then you've got the 2 reports that came out. I think it was Talk Sports, Alex Crook, and then we had the Sun report. I know, individually, do you believe them? No, but when there's lots of them, they're a little bit more believable. Which said there was concerns. I think it was concerns. There were concerns within the squad about Lopetegui's tactics and his methods. Really? I don't know. It sort of flies against what Jarrod Bowen said. It's really weird to hear Jarrod Bowen echo what Max Kilman had said, which was West Ham lost their concentration. I mean, that's a worry, isn't it? Max Kilman said it directly after the game. Bowen said it yesterday. Bowen's a captain. West Ham lost their concentration. And for 2 players to be saying it. Look, I can't disbelieve them. If Kilman's saying it and Bowen's saying it, I've got to say there's something in it. But I still do believe that it's probably a bit of everything. I do believe that the Tottenham capitulation was was a bit of switch of tactics, was maybe they did switch off, maybe they lost their concentration. Obviously, Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham had something to do with it because they were really bloody good. Maybe the communication, maybe that was it. Maybe he switched tactics and they didn't play exactly the tactics that he wanted because he wasn't able to communicate the message well enough. That's bad. If that is the case, I'm not trying to be sensationalistic here and making that up. All I'm doing is, and those are Lopetegui's words, I'm going by what's been said here. If that is the case, that we have hired a manager who is unable to convey his tactics and communicate his messages to the squad, then we're in a right pickle. We really are. Maybe that would go to explain why we've looked at our best maybe when things are simple, like the first half against Tottenham. And it's looked really, really sort of ramshackle when it's been at our worst, when he's tried to be a little bit creative. You look at the Chelsea game with, Edson Alvarez dropping in as an auxiliary centre-back and sort of getting caught out. Maybe those complicated tactics. He's struggling to communicate and articulate what he wants to be done. It makes sense, wouldn't it? But it makes it bad. And you can't communicate with that. So make no mistake about it. If I think I've always said, I'm not being overly flowery with this stuff. I'm not trying to be diplomatic. Hopefully we've done thousands of videos at Hammers Chat now. Hopefully I've got enough in the bank to show you that I won't be overly diplomatic. I'll say what I think, but just because I'm not raging all the time doesn't, I honestly, I do honestly believe that we have a good chance of beating Manchester United. Not because we're brilliant. I think we're okay. Maybe we're under average. I don't think we're the worst team in the league, and I think the trouble is if you start saying that stuff and using that language, then you sort of lose a bit of credibility anyway, because clearly we're not. But at the moment, we do look sort of like a, 15th, 14th, 13th place team in the league. I really do. But what I would say is I don't think Manchester United look an awful lot better. You add in fatigue, you add in the extra pressure that their manager's probably under. I think this is winnable, and it's at home. Let's get through this game before we start talking about these because there are 3 games before the international break. Let's get through this one before we start talking about any ramifications, because, as I say, I think if he wins this, then the league looks a lot healthier. Would I think that everything's okay? No, but it does look a lot better. And people would be saying, well, hold on. In the same way that Ipswich, people said against Ipswich, you just beat sort of the worst team in the league. I think if we do beat Manchester United, people will say, well, hold on, you beat a wounded animal. You beat a bad Manchester United team. And yes, okay, that would be the case, but you still have to go and beat them. So I think if you beat them, do you get loads of praise? No, I just think it takes the pressure off a little bit and allows you to get to Nottingham Forest. Lose to Man United ends. I mean, that's bad. That's bad. Really, really bad. So anyway, I don't think we will. I'm still going to go for me 2-1. He's got a few decisions to make, some of them enforced, like the Mohamed Kudus thing. I don't think he's got any choice of what he can do up front, but he's got an interesting decision to make, certainly in central midfield, and it'd be very, very intriguing to see what he does. But he's going to need to protect his own job here, because he is under pressure. He is under huge pressure. Not as much as Ten Hag, but I'm not. If he keeps losing and we go on a losing run now, then I don't believe this whole he's got until January type of thing, because I'm not entirely sure. For reasons that maybe we'll look into in a different video, I'm not entirely sure that Sullivan is 100% in charge of this anymore. We'll get to that another time. Anyway, there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.